In the best of the rest of the news, with the economy flailing, there's at least one industry other than Wall Street and big oil that's booming, and that's the business of locking up immigrants. Not because there's more illegal immigration in the United States today, there's actually less, but because private prison lobbyists, with the help of paid-off lawmakers who write strict anti-immigration laws like Arizona's SB 1070, are making sure that more and more illegal and sometimes legal immigrants are rounded up and thrown into for-profit detention facilities around the country. Each new immigrant captured translates into over $70,000 a year for the private detention facility. So it's a pretty lucrative industry. Take a look at this video.
The detention of migrants is a multi-billion-dollar industry.
One in which immigrants are traded like products.
They are for sale to the highest bidder.
Who benefits and who profits? Corrections Corporation of America, or CCA, the GEO Group, and the Management and Training Corporation combined own over 200 facilities in the nation.
With over 150,000 bed spaces for a total profit of close to $5 billion per year.
Private prisons profit like a hotel. The more occupants that go in, the more money comes out.
You just sell it like you're selling cars, or real estate, or hamburgers.
Private prisons rely on anti-immigrant laws that guarantee them access to fresh inmates.
Here's how they do it.
Joining me now to talk more about this issue is the founder and director of Cuentame, Axel Caballero. Axel, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
I know I'm mangling the name of your organization. Could you please say it for me?
Definitely. It's called Cuentame, which translates to count me in or tell me your story.
Okay, so can you break down for us what we're seeing going on in this for-profit war against immigrants?
Yeah, definitely. Well, what's happening is after SB 1070 was passed last year and we saw the whole debate nationwide, we wanted to dig deeper. Our supporters in Cuentame asked us to look into it, to really scratch the surface of what this law was about. And what we discovered was a web of interest, monetary interest principally, and a web of political interest that kind of converged and created these laws designed to put immigrants behind bars for a profit. It started in Arizona, but it certainly has gone through many states. We see it in Texas, we see it in Georgia, we're seeing right now in Alabama. And so the laws are created to put immigrants behind bars. Documented or not, that becomes a fact after, you know, the whole situation. The point is that every night that they are in a detention center, the private prison corporations make $200 a night.
Folks who are advocating the legalization of pot have been pointing out for a lot of years that that is a very profitable industry, not the pot itself, but the illegality of it. That there's the police end of it where there's profit to be made in manufacturing things for the police to use. There's the imprisonment part that's very profitable. There's the drug testing that's profitable. It looks like, and there's lobbyists and literally millionaires and billionaires, and as a result of that so-called war on drugs, it looks like the exact same strategies that have been used and fine-tuned over the last couple generations in the war on drugs are now being used and fine-tuned and brought into this, I hate to say war on illegal immigrants, but I'm not sure what other metaphor to use for it.
Absolutely. In fact, is the same people. Back in 1984, when the private prison industry really boomed, it was Correction Corporation of America, CCA, and its founder, Thomas Beasley, who really pushed forth this agenda that the war on drugs was going to populate the prisons and therefore there was going to be money to be made. Through 2.5 decades later, the same folks, the same corporations stated even publicly that they believed that the detention of undocumented immigrants was the next boom, was the keeping the shares up, was keeping the profits going, because they knew that with the laws and the situation, the political situation across the country, that there was an opportunity for money to be made. And so what they're doing is partnering up with legislators across the country and really hijacking our state legislatures, like the case with Russell Pierce in Arizona, And with a combination with an interest group called ALEC, American Legislative Exchange Council, together they crafted this law, SB 1070, which was word for word what we saw in the final document. And it was both interests, there, Russell Pierce tied to all these nativist groups and the economic interest with these private prison corporations that are making a lot of money. Aside from the profits for the executives who are living comfortably in their suburban mansions, what are the other human stories in this? It's really terrible what we're hearing, because what we do in Immigrants for Sale, that's the name of the campaign, we document how this is impacting to families. We had the case, one particular case of Pedro Guzman back in Georgia. Pedro Guzman is married to an American, has a kid here, and was going through the process of his status. And so he missed the court appearances because they sent a document to the wrong address. And so he missed it completely. So he ended up being arrested and sent to Stewart Detention Facility in Georgia, which is the largest in the whole nation. And he spent there 19 months trying to prove his case, trying to prove that this was a mistake. 19 months. In the meantime, CCA made $70,000 that year. And we're seeing it time and again. And it's surprising, and not really surprising, but you know, to a lot of people it becomes shocking that Stewart Detention Facility, the largest private facility in the nation, which is in Georgia, which is a state that just passed HB 86, and that Nathan Deal, during the campaign, the governor of Georgia, received money from CCA. So this is the web that we're seeing, and it's impacting real people, like the case of Pedro Guzman. Yeah, it's a horrible situation. What can we do to stop this? Well, the first thing that I recommend people is to get informed. You know, they can visit our site and can visit other organizations that are doing something about it. That's immigrantsforsale.org. The most important thing is to organize in their states, to really call their legislators and say that this is wrong, that these contracts that are happening in their backyard, in their communities, that these are causing a whole break in our community. And the worst part of it all is that this is a $5 billion industry that we end up paying, because these contracts are paid with either our federal money or our state money or our local money. So we're actually supporting this industry to keep going and to keep destroying lives. Extraordinary. Axel, thanks so much for being with us and sharing your story. Thank you so much for having me on.